Good evening and welcome to the 11th episode of Thursday Table. Today we have with us Mr. Sriram Karri. He's a novelist, writer and journalist. His debut novel, Autobiography of a Mad Nation, was a bestseller and long-listed for the Man Asian Literary Prize 2009. His first book, The Spiritual Supermarket, published in 2006, was longlisted for the Vodafone Crossword Book Award non-fiction category. His next novel, One Farmer Less, is due for publication later in the year. As a columnist and writer, his writings and reportage have appeared in the New York Times, The Guardian, BBC, HuffPost, Asia Times, Economic Times, First Post, Scroll, Wire, Rediff, among others. As a speaker and analyst, he has appeared in discussions on various national news channels and anchored conversations with several people of prominence, including Amitabh Ghosh, Dr. Shashi Tharoor, Sudha Narayanamurthy, Dr. Sanjaya Baru, N. Ram, Dr. Subramanian Swamy, Karan Thapar, Jairam Ramesh, and Vishwanathan Anand, among others. He is currently the resident editor of Deccan Chronicle based in Hyderabad. He has earlier also worked with Infosys, Tata Consultancy, Satyam Computers, Indian School of Business, Call Health, among others. On behalf of all of us at HIE, we welcome you, sir, and over to you.
Hi, good afternoon, and thank you so much for this opportunity. I must upfront confess that while last 18-24 months we've constantly been on so many discussions, debates, etc. through Zoom, and this has become like the de rigueur sorts of kind of default these days, where you can't really, beyond the point, see the people you're addressing, and it's not like actually going to your school and being there and looking at the students and meeting them, etc. But this is the best we get these days, so we'll take it. I was a little taken aback when I was asked by Mohanji to address this gathering, predominantly, I assume, of students from classes 11th and 12th. And it struck me that it's now been over 30 years since I have passed my class 12th. So that's the first and only indication of my age to all you out there. So I was in your position 30 years ago. And when I was told you have to address them, and I asked, what should I speak to students of class 12th and 11th and 12th, and I was told, why don't you make it like some kind of a career guidance? Now, I said, okay. And later that evening, this was a few days ago, I called a friend of mine who was my classmate. Now he works in a very big corporate in New York. And I called him and said, Ravan, do you remember when we were in class 11th and 12th, what kind of career guidance talks happened? So we began saying, 11th did something happen, 12th. Then we got, as typically friends, conversations on groups happen. We had about half our batch from school together, and everybody asked, do you remember any career guidance talk or advice being given to us? Who are the celebrities who would have come to talk to us, etc. And nobody could remember upfront if we had any expert or any person coming to give us advice. And I was very surprised by it. At the same time, I was also sure that we must have had people come and, like I'm trying to give you talks on, In the end, we could list out that in just our class 12th, we had 7 people who had come to give us career advice. And I must share upfront with all you students who are on this session that I couldn't remember, nobody in my batch remembered even the names of 4 of those people. Of the remaining 3, one person's face we are able to kind of recall. We know where that, which room or hall that conference happened, but we don't remember what he was or who he was, even his name. One person we remember, we know the name of, we have no clue, and he spoke the longest, 2 hours, and nobody remembers even one word of what talk was given to us. And the last speaker who had come was a spiritual leader of some kind. So a very different kind of dress. So we remembered the dress. And at the end of the talk, you know, he had this basket of apples. So he threw them at all of us, like catch, catch, catch. That's the only thing we remembered. So I must confess, as somebody who was in my class 12th 30 years ago, can't remember 4 speakers out of 7 who came to give us career guidance, and don't remember one word of guidance anybody gave us. Now, this is a very frightening, sad, and a beautifully liberating conclusion, because I know 5 years down the line, none of you will remember me or this session or anything I say, which is wonderful. So if you succeed, I can't take credit. If you fail, you can't blame me. And in any case, what I say really wouldn't matter much to you. So this is very liberating. And therefore, I'll very honestly speak to you as a kind of career advisor that we don't have. And by that, what I mean, I remember asking my classmates saying, who should have ideally come and given us career advice? Who? What advice would have helped us now that we have lived a reasonable part of our life, not fully done yet, or still in reckoning, still trying to do a lot of things, or some success, some failure, now that we've lived half our lives. And since as a batch or class that passed class 12th 30 years ago, so many of our children have reached your age. So we also see it from the perspective of parents. What is the advice I would have liked? And the surprising thing somebody said, well, I wish I had a time machine. And I'm talking of people my batch and age said, I wish in 1991, I had a time machine and I could have come to 2021 and seen my life and then gone back and said, what would have I changed differently? And therefore, I decided that I will share a few things with all of you as the time machine. I will fast forward in the next 10-15 minutes, the next 30 years of your journey. Maybe I'll predict it correctly. Maybe my predictions will go wrong. But 30 years later, if nothing else, you'll remember my time machine anecdote. And I'll tell you some very, very big wisdoms of life or very stupid experiences and their impact on me. I don't know. I'll leave it for you to decide. First thing, all of you are typically below the age of 18 today. And when you see your entire life is 18 years, right? So that's like, when you say a lifetime today, when you use the word lifetime, you're talking about 18 years. Of which the first 3 years, anyway, nobody remembers. So 15 odd years, 14, 15 years is your lifetime. And therefore, even 1 month is a pretty long You are young, your memory is very good. You remember exactly what happened day before yesterday at 3 o'clock. You remember what happened 6 months ago, 1 year ago, etc. And therefore, when you look at as a person with 15-year lifetime, when I'm talking of 30 years, it feels, wow, that's so long. I mean, you are all less than 18. That means you have another 80 years of life. That's like forever. It's boring. This lecture will look like forever in a short while. And it is true. Time is relative. On one hand, 1 hour class of mathematics or chemistry, or 1 hour guest lecture on career, life, wisdom, all this profound, seemingly very profound things will be very long, but 30 years is a very short time. 2 days ago, when I was speaking to all my classmates, I really felt I was transported back. And it made me think, where did 30 years go? It still feels like I'm in that physics class waiting for it to end so I could go to the dining hall for lunch. And it felt like evening will never come. We had a nice game of cricket to look forward to. It looked like it'll never end. Suddenly 30 years is gone. So 1 hour is very long, but 30 years is very short. And you will remain mentally 16, 17, 18. But like a meter in a taxi, time will run very, 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 very fast. Before you know it, all of you will be out of your school. Today you'll be saying, oh my God, when will Saturday come, Sunday come? This school is boring, I don't know. But before you know, the school will give you a nice farewell, which is a kick saying get lost. And you'll go out there into college. You will have so much of excitement. College, this is the best phase of life. You will decide your destiny. You'll have big goals, big tests, exams, success, failure, dealing with all this change in the kind of freedom you get. Suddenly you'll be 18, you'll be a major, you'll be an adult, and you'll have to deal with this world. You'll have to deal with responsibility. And right now it feels like, when will this happen? All this will happen much later. But all this will happen very quickly. You'll be 18, you'll be 20, you'll be out of college, you'll go to maybe some foreign country to do higher education, you'll do your first job. And before you know, you'll be on your 10th anniversary at school, and all of you will be much older. Many of you will be much fatter, less fit. Some of you would have started getting married, then soon you'll be 25, 30, 50 years gone. So please don't think that the life ahead of you is very long. It is, but actually it doesn't feel like that. It passes very quickly. So whatever you wish to do in life, whatever, and by that I'm not asking you to think about what your teacher, principal, father, mother, uncle, auntie, neighbor, grandfather, grandmother want you to do in life. I'm not talking about that at all. I'm only talking about what you want to do. One of you wants to climb Mount Everest, maybe. One of you might actually want to take that rocket shuttle up to Mars and put your foot on the surface of the moon, maybe. Some of you might want to create these extraordinary business empires. Some of you might want to be painters, singers. Some of you might want to be a cricket player or a badminton player. Somebody might be a Bollywood star. Whatever you want to do it quickly. Start doing some of those things quickly. The list of life is long. The seeming 30, 40, 50 years ahead of you are not going to feel that long. They're going to pass very quickly. Time is very slow when you are in school, but afterwards it becomes very fast. You lose track. So please start doing some of those things and stay true to those 5, 6, 7, 10 things, So today when you go back home, instead of career goal, life goal, just put a very exciting 10 things I'll do before I die. 10 things I will do before I die. And 30, 40 years later, if you've done about 7, 8 of them, fantastic, great. Feel very nice. If you've done all 10, wow, man, hats off. Second very significant thing I've learned 30 years after school, and one thing I wish some way I had been able to learn 30 years ago, is that while you should have a vision, while you should have a target, while you should have a goal, while you should have dreams, while you should have lists, things to do, etc., while you have plans for life, life has its own plan. It's amazing what will happen to you, which is so different from what you would like life to be like. Sometimes these will be beautiful surprises, happy moments. It'll be like you won the lottery, the greatest thing, and you'll say, oh my God, I never thought this kind of a beautiful moment will ever come in my life. I never even planned for it. You will also have very sad moments, and nobody prepares you for that. Somebody will prepare for some exam. Somebody would like to get into some college or university. Somebody would like to get some medal. Somebody would like to get that job, and you won't get it. Some people will just not get what they want. It's the simplest truth of life that nobody tells you. And when that happens, nobody remembers any motivation talk, all these WhatsApp forwards about be positive. You will be sad, you'll be angry, you'll curse, you'll cry. You'll wish like you would never come out of your room, never show your face to anybody. But like I told you, lesson number 1, time passes and that phase will pass away too. Whatever happens to you in life, one day your leg will break, you won't be able to walk. One day you will be surprised by your Swiggy guy where you order 1 pizza and you get 2. That won't happen, but no harm in dreaming. Whatever happens, relish the experience in a way that someday when you're 80 years old, you're able to recall. Because, and this is the third lesson of life, we forget a lot of things. Today, I'm sure 2 of you in your class must have had a little fight, and you'll say, I'll never forget this moment. I'll always remember it. Surprising thing is your memory doesn't work as good as you grow older. So you will forget a lot of things. So whenever you experience something in life, the moment you have a good moment, look around, say, oh, I'm standing here. I must remember this moment. Make that extra effort. And the more memorable moments you have, by memorable, I don't mean happier, good ones alone. Good, bad, surprising, happy, sad. Life is like all flavors, like the rainbow, full of colors, all kinds of emotions. Live life to the fullest. And the more variety of experiences life gives you, consider yourself rich, because they will matter a lot towards the end of life. The third thing, the next thing. Today, there are certain traits about you of which people will say is very childish, childlike, young, juvenile, dreamy, impractical. Today if I asked all of you, what do you want to become? What do you want to do with your life? You'll have a set of answers. Most of them will border around academic success, job, career, money, fame, impact, etc. But go back to your home, neighborhood, and ask children in the age group of 3 to 5, what do they want to become? I'm sure you won't be surprised that they'll give a very different kind of answers. And I did this exercise when I was told I have to address you. I said, in what way are 3 to 5-year-olds different from children once they reach classes 11th and 12th? So I spoke to a few kids in my building, in my house, and asked them, what do you want to become? Somebody wants to become a fairy. Somebody wants to become Iron Man. Somebody wants to. And as you grow from 5 to 7 to 8 to 9, from somebody wanting to be a whale or a shark to somebody wanting to be an avenger, somebody wants to be a masked crime fighter, then life begins to get boring. From the time you become 10 or 11 years old, a sense comes from life that, no, you cannot become Iron Man. You can't become Spider-Man. You can't do this. You can't do that, etc. And by the time you come to 11th and 12th classes, enough people would have told you, you cannot do this. You cannot do this. You are not capable of possibly doing. You should, I think, stick to doing this. And this messaging will become stronger. Every other person is more likely to tell you, you can't do this, you can't do this. Oh, I don't think you should try. You can't become stronger, taller, higher, faster, richer, smarter, etc. This is it. This sense that you are limited. You are not some superhero. You are not some god. You are not some material to change the world. This is something the world will try and tell. Now the reasonable people, the nice people, the practical people, the intelligent people will sooner than later let the world change them. When the world tells you, you cannot be a billionaire, you can't be the scientist who will invent something that'll change the world, you say, okay, I think the world is right, I cannot. Somewhere you will repeat it to yourself. But there will be some people in your batch and in every batch, in every group, who will be unreasonable, who will be the people who will defy, people who will rebel. Every time the world tells you, you cannot do it, 25 people will say, yeah, we can't do it. But one person will in his heart say, the world doesn't know anything. I will tell you why the world is wrong. I will prove a point. There'll always be somebody who will thrust that no onto the face of everybody. People will tell you, why are you doing this? It's not worth it. It's so risky, so dangerous. And the consequences will be obvious. You'll break your leg, you will lose 1 year, you will not get a job, then what will happen, blah, 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 blah. But there'll always be that one person who will say, no, I will do what I want to do. I will defy the world. I will change the world. What business the world has to change me? And such people, their lives will be a little harder than the rest. And there'll be a very strange thing that'll start happening. It must be happening now. And it's called comparison. I'm sure you must have very often been compared. And this comparison business is nonsense, but it is there in our lives. People say, look at him, he scores such good marks. Look at her, she's so smart, she's topping the class. Oh, look, he does this so well. Why can't you be like this? This begins. Parents do it, teachers do it, schools do it, colleges do it. Life does it. 10 years from today, you'll find races, whatever. I don't like the analogy of a race, but because life isn't a race, there's many experiences that matter. But people say, oh, look, some people in our batch, they've done so well. They've settled in America. Oh, this guy's got a Lamborghini parked outside his house, and this guy is like, in Hong Kong running an investment bank. Oh, that guy is like on TV, and and where am I? And these comparisons will further add to your doubt. So the one lesson in life I would think I learned is, be the child who can say, I can do it. The world, when it tells you you can't do it, is wrong. And let me tell you this, the world is wrong. It is strong because there's so many people that make up the world, but they have no idea about you. They don't know your hidden strength, your hidden passion. You cannot lose, and the world can't predict your defeat. But you can defeat yourself the day you accept somebody else's viewpoint about you, appraisal about you, that you can't do it. So every time somebody tells you, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this, till you say, I can't do it, it can be done. So learn to say no to those who say you can't do this, you can't do that, always. Next thing at the start, I told you when I had a doubt today about what to say here, I called my school friends. 30 years. And many of us are still good friends. No matter how big you are, no matter how powerful you are, no matter how successful you are, or no matter how much of success you're trying to get, or no matter how great things you're trying to do, but you're not able to do and you will try again. Nothing like friendships, nothing like friends from school. In future, what will happen after you finish your college, you get a job, people will want to be your friend based on your success, because you can help them if you're in a position to help them. If you're not in a position to help them, nobody wants to be a friend anyway. And if you need help, then anyway you'll have no friends. But the friends you have, look around. I don't know if you're all seated in one class or you're seated in different places with your phones. I can't see. But these people around you today, they did not become your friends because of your future success. They don't have a clue. They're your friends because they are friends. And these friends will be the most amazing joys. Even the person you dislike today, saying he was made a prefect, I was not made a prefect, I dislike him. When you live life and see bigger losses, bigger defeats, even the person you dislike the most in class, you would love to meet 10 years, 15 years down the line. So always be in touch, be that friend who's available to talk, be that friend who's available to listen. Worst day of your life, when you feel all alone, it's amazing the joy a little 2-minute call from a friend can help. When I passed my 12th, and that much life has changed. We had to take postal addresses and write letters, and these letters would reach the other person in 5 days. If it's within India and other country, would take 15, 20 days. And then the letter would come back. The whole thing would be a month. It mattered. Today, thanks to technology, of course, nobody waits that long to do anything. You are in a video call mode, you are in groups, you must be connected through a myriad of technological platforms, social medias, etc. So please be in touch, be connected, stay connected. It's amazing how when you meet and you recall the days, there's no greater health tonic than talking to your friends. The next thing I would say would be nearly my penultimate goal of sorts for you to consider. None of these are advice. Like I said, I never listen to anybody's advice. Therefore, I have no right to advise anything. There's not an advice. This is just what I learned. If I was in your position and I had an opportunity to live my life all over again, I would do this. Pick one lovely hobby. Learn to dance, learn to sing, learn to paint. And this is not from a career perspective. If you want to be a painter, then you learn to do carpentry. If you want to be a doctor, then pick up singing a song or playing the guitar or something like that, one hobby, it will really be there for you when the soul feels dark. And it will feel when the heart feels it is broken, when you feel your body doesn't have energy anymore. It's like you become the car without a battery or without petrol. It's amazing what a little thing like sing a song for yourself or paint a painting or a sport. You'll all be very healthy and fit now, but trust me, within 10 years, you'll all look so different. The worst change happens from 20 to 25. So if you can walk, run, swim, cycle, learn martial arts, boxing, whatever, one sport, physical activity, I think that's one regret you'll definitely have. Most people will eventually have. So see if you can do that. So in short, 30 years from today, if by some magic, you and I could meet and you could say, well, let me see what the hell this guy said. I said all the targets and goals, what you should do told by your parents, teachers, society. Keep that aside. Ask yourself what you really want to do. And make that list and call it 10 things I will do before I die. And see if you can do them fast, because time goes away very quickly. Keep in touch with friends. And every time people, the world, your boss, your professors tell you, you can't do this, you can't do that, try and see if you can say no and remain the child. And when you feel you're losing that sense, your friends will be most useful and helpful. But in case they're busy and life will make you busy. And you should never be too busy for your friends. But if you are, you must have that ability to wear your pair of shoes and go for a long drive or a long run, or take a piece of paper and start painting or write a poem, or these are the things you should all, one of these things you should have as a hobby or a sport for yourself. And if you do all this, you will, I think, be surprised. And I'm predicting this for you. All of you will think I'm telling you something that is not true. And all of you will definitely remember this. 30 years from now, you will be called upon to give advice to people of your age. And they don't think you know anything. And they're right. And then you will look back to, and you realize life is not lived by someone else's intelligence or wisdom. Our life is not lived by your parents' wisdom, teachers' wisdom, wise people's wisdom. Your life is unique. You are unique. Who knows what path you will go? Who knows what all journeys you will have to undertake? Who knows what all you will do, what all you will try to do, how many you will do well in, how many you will not do well in. And that will be the beauty of life. And that is guaranteed. If you can, amongst and while doing all this, don't forget to smile. Be kind. And I hope you have a beautiful life ahead. Career, job, everything is part of life. I hope you have beautiful lives. And during this life, while you make yourself successful, see if you can make the world around you better. See if you can do a little this, little that for people around you. And you will have a good life and you will be very satisfied. And with that, I must say thank you so much. It was a privilege talking to you, even though I have no clue who you are and where you are. I don't know if you're sleeping or listening to me, but I don't know, and it won't be a surprise if you all just logged off and listening to some music also, that'll be fine. But I do hope you have beautiful lives ahead, and it's a beautiful age. One whose value you understand only when you're well past it. So have a lot of fun. Have a lot of fun. May life be full of happiness for all of you. Thank you so much. And if there is any question, anybody would like to point out any mistake I made in my speech, or like to tell me if there's some advice they have to give me, I'm all ears and open. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sriram. I think the boys have a few questions to ask you. Can we carry on with the question session?
Absolutely. Should I see it in the chat, or will they?
No, they will be. They will be asking.
No.
If they ask,
Sriram,
would be best.
you can be in the Zoom itself. The boys have really got some very valuable things from what you have spoken. They are just raring enable their mic, and then just they'll be shooting off. You may have a tough time answering them, but I know you can answer it.
I would love to listen to them.
Yeah, over to them.
Good evening, sir. Myself, 𝗙𝗵𝘁. And I would like to ask, why would someone want to change the world? Means, is there a necessary cause for it, or just someone simply wants to change the world? Is changing the world in the positive direction? Is it, how important it is? Can you please answer my question? Thank you, sir.
See, when I say change the world, do not visualize like you'll change Mother Earth and the globe. You have your own world. And change in that sense I used was, maybe I should have said transform or something like that, but it sounded very fake. So I just said simple change. Change is part of life. You will change tomorrow from what you are today. There is change because time will pass. There's change because other people will change their attitudes towards you. There will be change because other people are constantly trying to do something different. You are absolutely right. If you say, I will not do any change of the world in my life, it's a very beautiful agenda. It's also very difficult psychologically, because you will have ideas, you will have emotions, you will have desires, and you'll express it. That is changing the world. You'll get married, you'll be changing the life of one person at least one person.
Sir, I would like to ask one more question. That is, after when we pass out the 12th, then we go on doing bachelors and then getting married and all, we are all the way getting settled. And this way we are not making any change in the society. Then how can someone, by doing this type of deeds, can change the world? It is just changing ourselves. How the world gets changed through this, as everyone is having the same same root.
I could see, now I can see. Hi. If you can change the world, please change the world. If you can change your country, change your country. If you can change your state, your city, your colony, change it. If you can't, that's fine. Live a good life. I definitely believe you can. How do you do it? What is it you have to offer to the world? Are you somebody who can give great ideas? Are you somebody who can influence other people and change their way of thinking, and together you can put into some action? That will be the course of your career. People talk about career as if it's a job, as if it is about, somebody becomes a doctor, he changes the life or she changes the life of so many people whom they'll cure. Somebody having a heart attack and you do a surgery and save them, you change the world, you change that person's life. So change will happen in installments. It's not like tomorrow morning we'll get up and find the sky is green in color. Won't happen. That's not the change I'm talking about. So yes, you change your life, you change the life of your family, then you change the life of your friends, as much of it in positive ways. Sometimes you will make change which is negative for yourself and other people. You can't help it. Because life also has plans. But whatever you do, take it, learn from it, move on, enjoy it, remember it. It's all going to happen. It's not like we can have one rule book saying this is how things will be and things will be exactly like that. No. I'm sure all of you must have had good plans when we were in class 8th or 9th about 11th class and 10th class. Coronavirus came and changed everything. And nobody had a clue. The whole world got changed just like that. And this is the year. You'll always remember your 11th and 12th classes as the worst years in the history of the world in the last 50, 70 years, post-World War II. So yeah, things go bad. But then somebody invented the vaccine, changed the world back again, goes on. Do whatever you can, good, as much good as you can. Thank you. I hope I have. If you're not satisfied with my answer, you can always tell me, saying, you don't know nothing.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Hi.
Hi, sir. So, myself, Mohammed Mukhtar Ahmed from Senior MPC. Sir, I have a personal question. Every one of us have a personal goal to achieve something and all. So, whether a goal is that to require something, enjoy what we want to enjoy in our life and fulfill our needs, whether the achieving our goals, how it will help the society to change and to change the world.
I wouldn't ask you to say making a difference to society as your first goal. Don't do that. Have your goal, have your dreams. You should be able to say, I would like to, do this, I'd like to achieve this, etc. Give it a shot. You'll succeed in some. If you succeed in them, wonderful. If you don't, you'll modify your plans, you'll try something else. It's okay. But the first set of goals should be for you, your own personal. But be flexible in the sense, go for it, try it. Doesn't work out, have an alternate. When it comes, take it, move on. And as you increasingly are more comfortable with your life success, you've taken care of your family, your friends, your neighborhood, you are in a better position to influence the world in small steps to begin with, and then more and more. Please keep increasing it. It's called the circle of influence, how many people you can influence. I'm sure your circle of influence will grow. It will keep growing to as long as you work hard to try and make a difference. But if somebody doesn't make too much of a difference, somebody makes a difference, some of you will become a teacher. Nobody makes a greater difference, nobody changes the world better than a teacher. Every year, so many children's lives, you make a difference. That's huge, that's phenomenal. So yeah, you choose the way you would like to, but do something you really like to do. Enjoy what you're doing, because you have to do it for a very long time. Because 22, 21, 23, that's the time you really start your kind of work, maybe 25. And you'll work till 60, 65, 40 odd years, 35, 40 years, you will do it. Please make sure you do something you really enjoy. Because there'll be bad days at work and career some days, some phases. If you don't anyway like it, then this becomes unbearable. That's when people have burnouts, they leave their careers, change. That's also good. If after 10 years you're enjoying something, then you feel, no, I'm bored, you can always give it a shot. Be open, enjoy, all the best.
Thank you, sir, for answering my question.
Thanks, Gupta.
Good evening, sir. Myself,
Hi.
Hussein. Sir,
Hussein?
yes, sir. Sir, I have a
Hi.
question for you. Sir, did you had a specific career dream? If
Yes.
so, what was it? Then what happened to it, sir?
Okay, I'll tell you, very interesting. My first career choice was to be a chess player and be a world chess champion. When I was in class 11, 1989, I reached that point where I knew that if I want to, that was my peak chess moment. If I have to continue, I have to leave everything and only play chess. And in the next 4 or 5 years, if I don't reach that grandmaster level, my chess career will be over. There'll be no money. I won't get a job. And life was very different in 1991. You people may not be aware. There are no opportunities like you have today in those days, So the next thing I wanted to do was to be an Air Force pilot. So I got into the National Defense Academy. I came 5th in All India merit list in the 88th course for Air Force, cleared the pilot aptitude battery test. But I was medically grounded. So after having done that, after 12th class, taken 1 year break, completely put everything, preparing for 1 year from 4 in the morning, you get up, go for your 12-kilometer run to night. By the time you prepare all your psychology questions and all, which would come in the SSB. After having done all that and having gotten selected, made it to the merit list, medically grounded, because I had a CP3 as I didn't know about it. 𝗙𝗵𝘁 section 3, where I can't. That's the eyesight that a pilot needs, 6x6 perfect vision. That's CP3. So it was devastating, But the person who did my medical final result, who gave me, he said, no, yeah, Army and Air Force, they're great places for great careers. To be an officer is wonderful. And you seem to have had lots of things, but you don't have everything. Unfortunately, you don't have the body you're born with, is not fit for it. What to do, sorry, but you will never become a pilot. So, and then, you take that letter, that rejection, and go back home. And I had to do this SSB in another city. So in those days, you leave the station, take an auto rickshaw, go to the railway station, wait there for 8-12 hours for your train, and then 2 days train back to where you started. So chess player could not become. Air Force pilot could not become. But I always wanted to be a storyteller and a novelist. I am one. I like to write. I am writing. I like to speak. I am speaking. I always, I'd come from very small, poor, small town, lower middle class family, want to make a lot of money, and very honestly, without compromising. And I think some of those I've achieved, some of the rest I will achieve tomorrow, day after, next year, or keep trying. So Hussein, I hope I've answered it honestly. You did ask me a very difficult question, as Moin sir had warned, but I tried my best to.
Your story is really inspiring. And sir, I want to ask you one more question. Sir, who was your favorite chess player, or the one who you look up to, sir?
Bobby Fischer. But two things. I played with Vishwanathan Anand when I was very young. And last year, I invited Vishwanathan Anand, also a friend of mine. I called him to Hyderabad to do a book launch with him. And we had a nice time in Hyderabad for 2 days, discussed his book. And a lot of people asked questions. And I reminded him how he had defeated me in a 4 nights game in the year 1984, when I was 11 and he was 15 or 16. I'm very happy that somebody I played as a kid went on to be a 5-time world chess champion. But my favorite chess player was Bobby Fischer. I mean, he's just the greatest man to play chess ever.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Do you play chess by any chance, Hussain?
Yes, sir, I do play chess, but it's my initial.
Questions. So all your questions have been answered, I hope. One more question. Two. No, I think Srikanth is already tired. No. Sriram, I mean, sorry, I got.
I must tell you, I would
okay,
have loved to.
Mind answering one or two questions more?
No, I would have loved to answer your questions till
Okay.
tomorrow morning, but I'm at office, and if I don't get back to work, my boss will shout at me.
Let's limit it to about 5 minutes more, or at
Yes.
the most 10 minutes.
Sure, please. It's a joy talking to you and listening to you. So,
Good evening, sir. This is MD Rizwan Ahmed from Senior IBC. My question is, everyone makes mistakes.
I didn't get your name, sorry.
MD Rizwan Ahmed.
Rizwan, okay.
Yes, sir, Rizwan. So my question is, everyone makes mistakes in their life. So how important are mistakes to change our life?
I don't think you should try to make mistakes. You will do a lot of things. Some of them will be mistakes. But if you have the honesty to accept it, one of the greatest virtues in life. See, galtiyan to ho hi jayengi na. Some people do mistakes deliberately, knowing it. A lot of times we make mistakes without the errors and so on and so forth. But whatever, mistakes will happen. At some point, you should have the ability to say, yeah, I think I did wrong. If you hurt somebody, you should be able to say, no, I'm sorry, that was not something I wanted to do, I should have done. And I'll try not to repeat the mistake. If you can do that much, I think you're a great person. I'll respect you just for that quality. To say that it was a mistake, I'm sorry, especially in personal life, with your parents, friends, family, you should be able to, and anybody, even if somebody you don't know, you do. We all make mistakes, happens. So try not to do it again and be able to accept it. Sometimes it will be hard, but you should accept it. Try to. That will make you a brave person and also a very nice person and a great person.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
If there was one more question, or shall we conclude here?
I think you should conclude.
Boys? Okay, I think we should conclude, Sriram. I know it's valuable. You are in office right now. So thank you so much for your time. And frankly, I was a bit apprehensive whether you would spare time for us or not. But thanks for our old connections.
Thank you so much.
To be able to spend so much for us. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye, all the best, and have a wonderful year and great time ahead, all of you. Best wishes.
Thank you.